Right, so first things first, drums. I always like to start with the drums, foundation of any groove really. So everything for me kind of stems from there. Usually I make my beats on an MPC, which I will be showing you on future videos, but for this purpose here, I'm going to do everything on the Ableton, which is, most people have got Ableton, and I'm going to be using more the stock plugins and whatnot, and then pulling out some samples from various sample packs that I have. So let's get stuck in. So basically, yeah, I usually start off with a drum rack, which I pull up on a MIDI track. So go into drums here, and then I'll pull the drum rack into the MIDI track. And I usually start with, obviously, you know, get a basic groove, starting with a kick, a clap, open hi-hat, maybe some kind of percussion sound, and I'll just build from there. So I'll get like a basic groove. So let's get into it now. I'm gonna audition for some kicks. Go to this folder here, see what we've got, have a flick through, audition. I'm looking for something that's it's got a little bit of depth, that's a little bit mid-rangey. It's got a bit of snap to it as well, not too tail-endy, because the kind of grooves that we, you know, for Garage House, especially at 126 BPM, which I've set the tempo at 126 BPM here, you know, it's a fairly fast groove, so I don't want too many sounds that have too much tail length in there, just, you know. So because I want to make, the key is for me is to get a nice fat full groove, but it has got space in there to allow for the bass and the other elements that we're going to put later on, if you know what I mean. So it's got a bit of breathing space. So it's just getting that balance, but to get that balance, it's all about getting the right sounds in the first place. So anyway, let me flick through some sounds, some kicks. Alright, so immediately this one has sprung to my attention, so I'm just going to drop that into one of the pads. That sounds pretty cool. Let's look through some claps. Go through the claps folder, have a click through. So bear in mind, you know, I might not necessarily use these same sounds later on. They might actually change, or they could stay the same, you know. So the whole point right now is just getting a basic groove, getting a basic foundation over a 4-bar pattern to begin with, and then we just kind of go from there, really. This one sounds pretty cool. Sounds pretty solid. Let's look for an open hi-hat. That sounds pretty cool. Okay, so we start with that. So what I'm going to do is go into the drum track, and we're going to insert a MIDI clip into it. By default, it's only 1 bar, so we're going to stretch it to 4 bars. So we're going to have a 4-bar loop. We're going to draw some kicks into it. I'm going to keep it straight for now. It could change, or we could actually keep it as it is, but we'll start with this for now. So I'm just going to drag and drop these kicks into place on the downbeat. Just drop some claps in there. Let's copy those over. Okay, let's drop the open hi-hats that we have. Let's put them in place. All very basic to begin with. But like I said, we just kind of build from this foundation. Alright, so we've got this basic groove that we have here. And what I tend to do as well, I'll bring up another audio track or an audio track, and then what I tend to do is maybe find some kind of drum loop that can kind of ride over it, or some kind of percussive loop that kind of, just give it a little bit more swing. Not too much information in a loop. I try and keep I call them top loops, just keep it quite basic, but just kind of, just give it with a little bit of definition to kind of give it a little bit of swing and a little bit of movement. So I want to go into a folder, one of my folders in my sample packs, and just look for some loops, audition them. Okay, well, immediately that's drawn to my attention, that little tambourine or shaker loop there. We're just going to drop that into the MIDI track there, see how that sounds. Okay, so that loop is going over 4 bars at the minute. I was going to bring it down to 2 bars because basically it's just repeating itself. So just to make it a little bit more tighter, have it over 2 bars. Yeah, I like the sound of that. So I'm going to pull up another audio track, and then I'm going to try and find another drum loop with a little bit more movement in there. A drum loop, a top end loop with no kick in there, just something that would kind of accommodate what we've got there already. Alright, so I'm going to go into the folder and have a look to see what we have here. I've got a great little speedy, garagey kind of drum loop. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into one of my sample packs. For those of you who probably already know, I run a website called loopwax.com. I've been making sample packs for a little while now, so the most popular ones where I've been doing is some packs called 90s Garage Tools Volume 1, Volume 2, all the way to Volume 8. So I'm going to go through some of these packs and see what we have in there. So this one's Volume 3. I'm just going to look in the drum loops folder and just see what we have. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So I'm going to drag that into the audio track and see how that sits. I'm not too sure about that. It's a little bit too loose. So I'm trying to find something a little bit more tighter. So let me try one of the other 90s Garage Tools. This one's Volume 5. Let's have a look and see what we've got in here. Go into the drum loops. That sounds pretty cool. Okay, let's drag and drop that into the audio track. Audition it with the rest of the sounds that we have already and see what it sounds like. Bring the volume down a little bit. All right, so we've got that going. That sounds pretty cool to me. For me, what's missing now, I normally do another MIDI track, and what I want to do, I want to put my own snares in there. So if you notice that the loop that I put in before, I like to keep it quite simple, like literally like not too much things going on. So I tend to find loops without a snare in there because I like to put my own snares in there.